All right, so these are 3.1 solving two-step equation notes. So we're going to take a look at our very first example here, which is 4x plus 9 equals negative 7. How do you know that this is different than the problems we did last unit? What's different about it? Greg?
There's two steps, they're not one step.
There's two steps. We have to undo two different things. Tell me one of the things that's happening to x in this problem. Kevin?
Times x, or times 4.
Yeah, it's being multiplied by 4. And what's the other thing that's happening to x? Yeah? It's being added by 9. Everybody agree with that? Now, which one do we get rid of first? The 9. We get rid of adding 9 first because we always undo addition or subtraction first. So we're going to write that over in the space. Always undo addition and subtraction first. Always undo addition and subtraction first. Because we're peeling the problem apart. We're working it backwards. Now, they have it in the row format for the notes here. So they're going to be showing subtracting by 9 in the row format. If you'd like to put minus 9 underneath, you can certainly do that as well. So we're subtracting 9 from each side. 9 minus 9 is 0, so we're just left with 4x on the left. And on the right, we have negative 7 minus 9. So how should we rewrite that to make our lives easier? Negative 7, yep, plus negative 9. So what is that? Negative 16, yep. See, they already wrote the answer for us there. Okay. All right. Now, after we undo addition or subtraction, what's second? We undo, you got it. So let's write that on the side. Undo multiplication and division second. Multiplied, so x equals negative 4. So the solution is negative 4. And we're going to plug it back in to check it. So another bonus of this unit is you get to check all these problems and make sure that they are correct. Okay, so we plug negative 4 back in. And negative 4 times 4 is negative 16. They didn't leave us a lot of room here, so we're going to put that there. And then negative 16 plus 9 is negative 7. It checks. Okay. So you are going to go down, you're going to do the steps for 1 and 2. You're going to pause the video, and then you're going to come back and see how you did. You're going to check your work first so you'll know if they're right or not. Okay, so in the first one, did you get x equals 6? Yeah? Yeah? Okay, you can subtract by 8 and then divide by 3, and then you've shown your check that it worked. And in the second one, you got x equals negative 7. You subtracted 4 and then subtracted by 7 and then divided by 4. What questions do you guys have on that? We're good? Okay, so let's look at the next page. All of the problems we've done so far have dealt with addition and multiplication. Does this example deal with addition and multiplication? Nope. It's got what? Subtraction and division. So which one do we undo first? Subtraction, and the way to get rid of minus 4 is to add 4. Whatever you do to one side, you're going to do to the other. So they cancel on the left, and we're left with x divided by 3. And on the right, negative 1 plus 4 is 3. And now x is being divided by 3. The opposite of divide is multiply. So we multiply both sides by 3. And 3 times 3 is 9. So we believe that the solution is 9. So to check that, we're going to plug 9 in for x. It goes on top of that fraction bar now, and it's 9 divided by 3. Minus 4 equals question negative 1. So 9 divided by 3 is 3. So it's 3 minus 4 now equals question negative 1. We can make that plus a negative 4, so negative 1 equals negative 1. It checks. So you're going to know if you get 100% on this summative before I will, because you're going to be able to check these problems. Okay? So you're going to pause the video and you're going to go through and do number 3 and 4. Okay, so in the first one here, you should have added 7 to both sides and then multiplied by 4 to get x equals 36. And here's what I'm seeing from some people's checks. I'm seeing this, and that's it. Are you actually doing the math? Some people may be doing it in their head. Some people may not, and they're just like, oh, I just got to write this check out to make Mrs. Wyman happy. That's not going to do it to make me happy. The reason for that is to make sure that you get it right, so you get all your points. Okay, you catch little mistakes. So get that whole check there. And then the next guy, b equals 55. Any questions about either of those? We're good? All right, let's look at our last part. And our last part goes back to those common mistakes that we made last unit summative. So everybody make sure you're watching this, guy, so you don't make those mistakes anymore. You're going to get these right now, okay? So what's happening to x in this problem? What's happening to x in this problem? What's one thing? Yep. It's not being subtracted by 2. It's being added by 2. Why am I saying it's being added by 2? What's the other thing that's happening to it? It's being added by 2, and the other thing is what? Not being multiplied by 3. What's happening? It's being multiplied by negative 3, and that was that same common mistake that you guys were doing last unit. So you need to make this plus a negative 3. Because otherwise, you guys are telling me that that's subtracting 2, and then how do you get rid of subtracting 2? You add 2. But what's 2 plus 2? 4. Did we get rid of 2? No. So you need to be fixing that. So I'm going to make this plus a negative 3x. So I'm adding 2 to this side. To get rid of adding 2, I subtract 2. Whatever I do to one side, I do to the other. Don't make that common mistake. So on the left, we're left with negative 3x, and on the right, we're left with 15. And now we're back to normal good stuff. Divide both sides by negative 3, x equals negative 5. So the solution is negative 5, and we plug it into check. And in your check, I'd make it adding the opposite right away again. So it ends up being 2 plus negative 3 times negative 5 is a positive 15. And, yep, that is 17, so it checks. All right, so pause the video. Go ahead and do your last 2 practice problems, 5 and 6. Okay, so for the last 2 here, let's see how you did. Did you get y equals negative 8? You subtracted 3 to both sides first, right? Yep, and then divided by negative 2, because we made that plus a negative there. Any questions about 5? Okay, now 6 was technically only a one-stepper. It was very similar to those problems that we did on the last summative. However, I did do it in 2 steps. I made this plus a negative 1m here. I subtracted both sides by 4 to get rid of the adding 4, and then I divided by negative 1. But you could have done the opposite like we did in last chapter as well. And then there's my check. All right, so you're all set. You're on to the next step.